I thought about it a couple of times. I ain't never put no gun in my head.
Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Shara. If you're new here, please make sure to subscribe. Today I am joined by my friend of over 15 years, Shannon.
Hi.
I'm starting a new segment called Real People, Real Advice. I wanted to create a space where you can come to get advice from real people right from your desktop, tablet, or phone. All right, Shannon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Shannon. I am 28 years old. Born and raised Jacksonville, Florida. Woo woo. Florida State alumni. I'm currently working a full-time job with Bank of America. And what else do I want to know? I like to play poker. I have 2 dogs. I'm an only child.
So on this first episode of Real People, Real Advice, we want to talk about depression. Depression affects about 18% of the United States population. Of that 18%, 21% of that are young adults between the ages of 18 and 29. And women tend to be more affected by depression than men. So Shannon is one of the most carefree people that I've ever known. She doesn't care about nothing. Like, everything's like, I don't care. So when we had a conversation and I found out that she has struggled with depression, or, you know, still sometimes struggles with it, I found that very hard to believe, because I know nobody that just lives their life like without a care more than her. So Shannon, when did you first find out that you were depressed? Like,
I think the first time I really noticed and thought like, okay, I'm depressed, probably would have been after I graduated college. I couldn't find a job. I mean, I felt like I had wasted 4 or 5 years of my life. And I was just like stuck. Like, I didn't know what was going on. Nothing was really happening for me fast enough how I wanted it to. And I just kind of felt like, what the fuck? What is going on? And I think that was like the first time I really felt it. I think that it probably was sometimes when I was growing up, because I used to throw tantrums and stuff when I was in middle school and threaten to kill myself, but I wasn't serious. It was kind of more of an attention type thing. But looking back on it now, maybe I was depressed, you know, and I just didn't really know it because I didn't know nothing about depression when I was freaking 12 or 13. But yeah, the first time I really realized okay, something's not right. I'm depressed. Yeah, would definitely have had to have been after college.
I think that a lot of us go through that after college, because we spend 4 years and we think that we're going to get this job, drive this car, all this stuff is going to come after you graduate. And that's really not the reality of it. Depending on what you majored in, it's very, very hard to find a job coming straight out of college, and it can be depressing applying to job after job and not carrying nothing back. Or if you get a response, is not what you expected. Like, I had to work retail. I was working BCBG, or was it BCBG first, or Aldo, something like that, after college, and I was making a little over minimum wage, and I'm thinking I'm gonna graduate. And
I was working BCBG inside of dealers, right?
No, I worked at the one in Town Center.
Oh yeah, you did.
But I think my first was Aldo when I first came home.
It was Aldo when you first came.
So how did you know you were depressed?
I wanted to sleep all the time. I was feeling lazy, unmotivated. I was sad, crying. You know, I used to have thoughts like, well, if I just wasn't alive, then, you know, I wouldn't have to worry about none of this, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess that's how I kind of knew I wasn't. I mean, I always kind of am always happy in general when I'm around other people, but when I'm by myself and my thoughts get to racing, you know, that's when I think I realize, okay, I'm thinking too negatively too much.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I kind of realized. That's how I knew.
Did anybody know that you was crying and stuff?
I don't think so, because that was like a private type of thing. It was really, my depression was really like internalized. I think when I did talk about it to people, I kind of, even when I talk about my problems now, I kind of try to make light of it. Like, it's make it a joke, maybe, and make it be not as serious as it really is. So I don't think anybody really noticed. I don't think so. Did you notice?
No, I had no idea.
Maybe my mom knew. Probably my mama. Yeah, she definitely. Because I was still living at home.
Okay.
So, but I had just moved back home. That was another thing too. I moved out of my apartment in Tallahassee, kind of like at the drop of a dime. Like, it was like my mom was like, okay, you graduated. You need to. Oh, let's just go ahead and tell the story. I had a gambling problem. Let's go back to. I had a gambling problem, so I was fucking up. Can I cuss? Okay. I was fucking up all of my money. So my rent was like $550, and shit, I just had to move out of my apartment because I didn't want to pay my rent on the first. And that was like, how long was that? That probably was like 6 or 7 months after I had graduated. So I think that was like the kicker. Like, okay, I had to move out of my apartment. My rent was only $550. I come back home, and my parents are cool. Like, I mean, I grew up in the house with them all my life by myself, and like my room is in its own area. But to go from having your own place to right back home after you graduated college, and you think you finna get you a good old job, and I didn't have me a good old job, and I was messing up my money, and me and my boyfriend was finna break up around the same time too, and it just was just looking like life was just not gonna blossom for me. Like, that's how I was feeling. I'm like, I just hated it. So, and that's how that shit started. The question was, how did it affect my everyday life?
How does it affect? Yeah. How did your depression affect you?
Oh, yeah. It just made me be lazy. It made me be lazy. It made me contemplate killing myself, and it made me it just really affected my mood a lot too.
Yeah.
It kind of made me not want to talk to people about stuff. It made me a little bit angry, like when people would ask me, oh, so what you doing now? You graduated, what you doing now? Like, don't fucking ask me that. Don't ask me that. I'm really not doing shit. Like, I just thought poorly of myself. That's how it affected me, I would say. Yeah, it made me feel like bad about myself. And then I would talk to somebody like my cousin, and she would be like, you are great, you know, you graduated college, you've accomplished so much. And for me, it was just kind of like, okay, I was supposed to graduate college. Like, I went, why would I not finish it, you know? And then it was kind of like, I picked a horrible major. Not horrible, but don't pick any social science thing. If you're not going to go right to master's school or graduate school or go and get a doctorate or something, it's kind of pointless, really, truthfully, because you're not going to get a job making any money. And it's going to help your mind and the way you think about society and things like that. But what does that do for you? You could learn that on freaking YouTube, Google. So yeah.
So did anyone know? Like, did your mom know that you thought about killing yourself? Did you talk about it with anybody?
I think I had a time I can remember this time. I think one time we was texting in the group message, and I think I said something along the lines of, I should just end all this shit. Or something I said about something, I was upset about something, and then Michelle called me and was like, don't say things like that. Like, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't really mean it. You know, of course I downplayed it, but I thought about it a couple of times. I ain't never put no gun to my head, you know, or try to stab myself or try to take no pills. I never actually acted on it, because I also feel at the same time I was having these thoughts, I'm having the same thoughts of, you kill yourself, you're a coward. Like, that's how I feel about people who commit suicide. It's like, it can't be that serious to me. So I'm having these thoughts in my head, but I'm also having these thoughts like, bitch, you better not, you ain't never finna kill yourself. Are you crazy? Like, are you crazy? Like, those are my thoughts too at the same time. So
it's like, you was battling with your thoughts.
It was just it was like a battle. It wasn't really a battle though. It was like a definitely, I'm not finna kill myself, but I thought about it.
Did you have a plan?
Like, I never had a plan to kill myself. I just used to sometimes be riding across the bridge. Like, if I just drive my car off this bridge right now. And then I'd be thinking, like, I wonder if I actually would die, though. Like, I feel like if I was to do it in that instant, I would immediately be like, hell no. You know, like, I really don't want to do this. So I don't think I really wanted to kill myself. I mean, people who really want to do something, they do it. And they attempt to do it. I never actually attempted to do it. So, I mean, it was just a thought to just kind of alleviate my problems. Like, if I was dead, I wouldn't have any problems. But I don't think I ever really was ever going to do it for real. Because I would have made an attempt. I haven't. So,
a lot of people, like, think about killing themselves and they don't make an attempt. They like thought about it, they might call the suicide hotline. It's like they think about it and they think it's a solution, but they don't actually want to do it yet. So they try to reach out to somebody to help, you know.
I never actually reached out to somebody. I never actually like went to somebody, came to them and was like, I'm thinking about killing myself. I need to do something about this. Like, or I'm depressed. I need to do something about it. It kind of was like I said, it was like an internal struggle for me.
Yeah. I think that sometimes we should like talk to our friends about stuff like that, because I feel like a lot of people have feelings like that. And if y'all don't talk to each other, then no one knows, like, I'm going through that too. So your friends can help you through that moment and y'all can help each other deal with situations like that. Did you reach a point where you felt like you weren't depressed anymore? Like, when was that point?
I think after I got my job with DCF, I was so excited. First of all, I had to go through hoops to get this job. My mama worked there for 35 years. Why I had to go through all that to get that job, I don't know. They wanted me to do an internship for, I don't know how many hours they wanted me to do, so many hours. And I'm like, dude, my freaking mom gave y'all 35 years. I just graduated. I'm not slow. Like, every job I ever had, I pick up on it so fast. So I don't understand why I gotta go through all that. So I had to do that internship. That was okay. I think I was just really excited. I felt like, okay, I'm actually doing something. This is like a career type of job. And I was excited about that. So that kind of was like, okay. And then I had gotten a boyfriend too. And I mean, I'm a woman, let's be for real. Like, having a man in your life, it just kind of makes you that much better. Especially if he's good to you, when he cares about you and treats you the way you want to be treated. I think that every woman that likes men would, you know, enjoy that. So that was kind of a good thing for me. But even I think he knew too. He was like, when I first met you, you were so like happy all the time, so ambitious, and now you just so down on yourself. And he kind of was giving me tough love. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, you need to, whatever it is you need to do for yourself, you just need to go ahead and do it. So that kind of also kind of put a little bit of fire under my ass. Like, okay, let me tighten up, because I really was tripping. I was tripping, you know. Like, looking back on it, like, I shouldn't have been so hard on myself. Like, you know. So, yeah.
Are you still hard on yourself, or?
Oh, I'm definitely still hard on myself, but it's not depressing. It's not saddening. It's more like a, okay, what's next? You know, type of thing for me. It's like a, all right, we know the problem, let's work on the solution. It's kind of like that.
Did you ever seek help about how you was feeling from somebody professional?
Well, technically I did, but I wasn't really depressed. I did a little FMLA. And my doctor, I also have some issues with anxiety, like just being nervous and being anxious not all the time, but sometimes I bite the skin on the inside of my mouth. You know, when I get deep in thought and I get real fidgety and I can't, you know, sit for too long. If I'm thinking about something, I gotta like make myself move around. But other than that, they gave me some pills. I never took them shits ever. So yes, I did seek help, but I guess no, I really didn't seek help.
So can you say that you are happy right now?
Yeah, I think I'm very happy right now. I think that I need to stop putting so much emphasis on some parts of my life, but I also think that I'm kind of just like, I feel like once you get over that depression part, the first time or the second time or however many times, you kind of know how to not go back to that space. So I don't feel, I'm happy right now. I ain't got no complaints right now. Well, I do, because I still don't want to work for nobody. And I do want to know, like, I want to feel like I'm fulfilling all aspects of my life, and I don't feel that way. So, but I'm not depressed about it. I'm just like, it'll happen, you know, eventually it'll come. Yeah.
So what would be your advice that you would give to somebody that's going through depression right now?
I think I kind of also tell myself all the time, it can always be worse. Like, that's like what I tell myself, like, no matter what I'm going through, like, I could think of 5 people right now whose situation is way worse than mine. I could think of 20 things that could happen to me right now that would make my life that much harder or that much worse. So that's kind of my way of, you know, getting through things. Like, well, it could always be worse. That's my response. So maybe if you think about things that way, then it would be different. I also would say, yeah, definitely do talk to people, tell people, because you get so many different things from different people. You just never really know, you know, what you just venting to someone about, how that could really help you. I think a lot of times we say, oh, I don't want nobody in my business, I don't want nobody to know this, that about me, but people need help and you need people. So it's nothing wrong with, you know, talking about your problems with somebody. Yeah.
I think that another way to kind of get yourself out of a funk, like for me, if I'm feeling some type of way, I like to write things down. So I feel like when you working towards a goal, you feel better about yourself. So if you take out the paper and you start writing down the things that it is that you want to do and start setting some goals and some dates, it'll make you feel better about your life because you'll feel like you're moving. Because I feel like a lot of time depression, like she was saying, comes from feeling stuck. So when you feeling stagnant, you kind of have those feelings where it's like, oh, what am I doing with my life? But if you have a plan, you feel better because you're moving.
Yeah, I do that too though. When I'm thinking about things a lot, I just go on my phone, go to my notes. I'm weird using my phone, but I have notes and notes and notes of just my feelings about how I feel. And I have notebooks, journals. I just write it down. And that's just what I do. And then it's kind of one of those things, like once I write it down, that's it. I'm not going to keep revisiting it, especially if it's something negative. Like if I'm having negative, bad thoughts, I just write it down and I don't revisit it. I'm not, you know, once and that's another thing too. I don't stay mad long. Everything just kind of rolls off my back now. So I just try not to linger on things. That's another piece of advice I would give somebody. Don't linger on it. If something happened, okay, whatever. You got to keep it. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep yourself going. I think it's a good thing to keep your mind occupied. When you start thinking about things that are bad, do something. Go do something. Do something with yourself. Do something. Go out, have a drink, call one of your friends, go for a walk, take some deep breaths. Do something. You got to keep yourself occupied. If you got too much time on your hand, that's when things start to go left. That's what I think.
Writing things down helps. She said when she writes stuff down, that's the end of it for her. For me, I will write it down a lot. So I might be feeling some type of way about something, and just because I wrote it down doesn't mean I still don't feel some type of way. And sometimes I talk to somebody about it, but you know, people sometimes they don't want to hear something over and over again. So I find like the journal is a safe space because you can write something down in your journal as many times as you need to until you get it out, until you feel good about it. So if you don't feel like talking to somebody, then that's a good place.
And I also think that writing things down and talking is really the same thing. You know, it's like, it's the same. So if you don't want to tell anybody, then yeah, write that down. And it's so easy to just go to your notes. I mean, let's use Drake for example. Drake writes all of his lyrics in his phone, and look how great he is, you know. So it's like, why not just even if you don't want to do it, if you have never done it, you could just, that's something that you could just give a try. But that's definitely something to occupy your mind. I also see people write things down on paper and burn the paper after. It's like you finishing it, and you're not gonna let things bother you. But I don't know how I could go be so carefree and be depressed, like you said. Like, I don't really know how that works, because even when I was depressed, I still was kind of like lackadaisical, not giving a fuck about nothing, you know. I still was like that. So I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Maybe you act carefree, but you really not. Obviously, because if something was bothering you, you care more than you let on to care.
Yeah, but I think it depends on what it is too. If it's not something that really directly affects me, that's gonna affect my everyday life, I really don't care.
But even with you not having a job and stuff at that time, you was acting like you didn't care. Like you was putting on, like, of course you like, yeah, I want to find a job, but it didn't seem like it was such a big deal. Because it was kind of one of those things like, what can I do? If I'm applying to jobs and nobody's calling me and I'm not getting any interviews, I can't do nothing about that. I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm doing my best. Yeah. So but again, that's something that directly affects me. Like, if it's not really, like, my everyday life is, I need a job. I need to have some source of money coming in. So of course that's gonna bother me if I don't. Yeah. You know. Of course. But I'm just saying that, like, no one knew about it. Okay. So what I'm saying is that you let on to make it seem like, okay, I find a job. Like, of course you're gonna find something, but from the outside looking in, you wouldn't think that was something that bothered you, that it was going a little bit slower than you wanted it to. Nobody would know that behind closed doors, that's how you was feeling. Yeah. No. And it kind of was off and on too, though. It was kind of like, sometimes I was feeling like that, sometimes I wasn't. I think that's a part of it too. I think I kind of, it's just like the same thing with me saying, when I thought about killing myself, I'm like, bitch, you know, fuck you not. Like, it's just one of them things, like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit depressed, and I'm like, all right, get off that. Like, you doing what you could do. Shit. Leave it alone. My thoughts are very inconsistent. Yeah. That's what we'll go with. I always try to find a way, though, no matter what is going on. I always try to make the best out of every situation. I always try to think about the good in everything. I'm not waddling in my sorrows. I think that's weak bitch energy to me. You don't sit around and just feel bad for yourself. Like, don't give a fuck who you are. Don't do that. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I think about. You know what I'm saying? When people commit suicide too, like, that's weak as fuck. Like, do something for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it shouldn't take a person, place, or thing, you know what I'm saying, to make you feel better. That stuff is like, it's within you. So that's why I always, and then that's another thing too. I always tell myself, things always work out for me. I don't know about y'all, but it just, I don't know how, but any problem I ever encountered in life, it just worked out for me. Like, it's the God in me, it's the God around me, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I definitely feel like your thoughts control your life. So
sorry to cut you off though, Nelly. I do a lot of talking to myself too. Okay. That's another piece of advice I would give to somebody. I do a lot of talking, and talking out loud instead of just thinking things. I literally talk to myself. And people always say, you're crazy, you talk to yourself, you talk back, you crazy. Nah, you got to do that. So I think I kind of, that's something else that helps me too.
Yeah.
Especially living alone. Living alone is, you find out a lot about yourself when you get by yourself. So
yeah. So I was definitely gonna say that I feel like your thoughts control your life. So you want to definitely fix your thoughts on positive things. If you find yourself in a negative slump, you don't want to stay there, because that's how things spiral and get worse. So fix your mind, again, writing down, planning for what you want your life to look like, will help you feel better, or writing down like how you want yourself to be, the type of person you want to be. Writing these things down will make you feel good, and you kind of have like a blueprint to where it is that you want to go. But if you're spending time just wallowing with where you are, then it can just make everything worse.
It's just really all about progression.
Yeah.
And even though you may not feel like it, every single day is a chance for you to do something different that you didn't do the day before. And you know, every single day, every single hour, I could go and do something right now that I've never done before for myself, and that's me improving regardless. And people think improvement is like it's not really just like always going up, you know. Sometimes you may, if you just decide that you want to try to write something down, you writing something down for 3 months straight, even if you're writing the same thing, you're still doing that for the better of yourself. That's still an improvement. You're doing the same exact thing every day for 3 months, but that's still an improvement, because the 3 months before that, you wasn't doing that. So, you know.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good note. And when you do set your goals, make sure your goals are attainable, like from a minimal effort level. So of course you want to be so-and-so place in 5 years or 10 years, but you also got to start with, this week and next week, because if you feel like your goals are out of reach, that can cause you to feel some type of way as well. So just start off with small, measurable goals, and then continue to work your way up so you feel like you're making progress.
Yeah, and nothing really is out of your reach. It's all about you.
Yeah, my mindset definitely is a big factor.
You definitely have to put if you want to do something, you got to do it. Like, people think that just praying to God is gonna make something happen for them. No, that's not how that works. God puts things in you so that you can go out and execute. He cannot come down and physically make you study. You gotta study on your own. He cannot come down and put money in your pocket. You got to go to work and get some money. You have to do these things for yourself. And you sitting around feeling bad for yourself is not going to help at all.
So if you are feeling like you are depressed, hopefully some of these tips help. If you are thinking about committing suicide, please do not do that. Reach out to somebody.
Yeah, I think the suicide line is like 1-800-HOPE.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to link some resources down below. That way you can get some help, have somebody to talk to.
Y'all can call me. I'm a good listener. I give great advice too, I think. Also, I don't know how you guys feel about your relationship with your parents, but my mom is like a really great mom. And if you have a really good mom that always wants what's best for you, she's definitely the person that you need to talk to when you're feeling down. Just saying. You might feel like you don't want your mama all in your game room, or you don't want your mama in your business. And people keep things from their parents just because that's the type of, like, I think that I'm so open with my mama. And a lot of people are not like that with their mom. But it benefits me to be that way, because I could tell her, Mom, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling that great. And she's going to say the perfect thing, you know what I'm saying, to make it better for me. So, I'm getting teary talking about my girl. I know, I love her. Yeah, she's so cute too. So yeah, try that. I think that's another tip that I would love to give to the people. Talk to your mama, because your mama know best. For real, for real.
What are some things that she says to you that makes you feel better?
She always tells me she's so proud of me, no matter what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
She always tells me she's so proud of me. She's just really encouraging. I can't think of nothing like specifically right now off the top of my head, but she's just encouraging. Like anything I want to do, she's like, do it.
Yeah.
Anything I have a problem with, or if I feel like I'm battling with it, she's like, why? You know, why do you feel this way? She just always try to find a way. And she's a little bit pessimistic sometimes, and I hate that, but it's from a place of she wants so much better for me. So whatever I'm going through, she's gonna say whatever is gonna make it better for me. So I can't really think of anything like right now, but she sends me nice text messages.
Oh, that's
excuse
cute.
me, out of the blue, like, I just want you to know you're the best daughter ever. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes me feel good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have a mom that's supportive like Shannon's, definitely want to reach out to her. Don't be shy, because thing about it is parents have been through a lot of stuff that we go through, and because you're not talking with them, you may not know that they've been through that, and they can relate to what you're going through. So definitely reach out to your parents, especially sometimes you might have a parent that's not so talkative, but if you get to talking to them about certain things, you'll find out that they have a lot to share and could say something to make you feel better. But there's always somebody, whether it's on the hotline, your friends, your mom, there's always somebody there that does care and does want to help you. So definitely reach out to anybody that you can.
Yeah, and don't think you're too good, too. Because there used to be a lot of times I used to be like, I ain't finna listen to you. I ain't listening to this person. I ain't listening to that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you just in conversation, not necessarily about my depression, just in anything. Like, I'm not listening to you, but you could take something from everything, from everybody. Like, even if it's just the smallest tidbit of information or advice, like, you could take that and use it for something. And it's nothing wrong with, you don't want to be like anybody, of course you want to be yourself, but you can take qualities from people and apply them to your life, and it just makes you better.
Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Real People, Real Advice. If you have any additional questions, feel free to leave a comment. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for...
Subscribe.
Exactly.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And
Thanks
thank you
for watching. Don't tell nobody my business.